There we go. We are live.
All right, cool. Hello.
Welcome to our podcast. It's Thursday. I had to think about it. Did you see me think?
Can I see you think? No, I'm still having that thing when we first come on where I can't see you. Isn't that weird? So
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, oh, then it's gone.
Right.
Did it yesterday. So
Yeah.
welcome to us and our, what are we at? We're at the end of our second week and we're still, I'm still dealing with trying to get rid of this weird thing that's around me with my background and my green screen. And we're still trying to figure out how to get things going. So that's good news for you, because if you're new and a beginner, it's fine.
Yep.
And we're not
Just
even
get it done.
beginners.
Right. Just start. Just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on video. This is podcast number 8. And in today's video, we are going to discuss what do you do? My family doesn't support me and I want to start a business. We're going to have that conversation because we kind of need to have that one early. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to first start with a little bit of a story from Ruben Gonzalez. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. Someone that I was turned on to many years ago through a company I was with that used to send out different DVDs and CDs every month of different kind of like personal development stuff. And I was like on an auto ship plan. And so I ended up finding a lot of people that I haven't ever heard of, right? Because we all know the Jim Rowans and, like the Zig Ziglars and the ones that have been around, but I ended up getting turned on to like Ruben. I also got turned on to Jim Cathcart and fell in love with him through that company and through that auto ship. But one of the things about Ruben is, and I'm going to try to tell his story in a very short period of time. He was somebody who from grade school fell in love with the Olympics. He wanted to be an Olympian. It was like, we all have these dreams in second, third grade, right? He read some books about the Olympics and growing up, he really wanted to be an Olympian. It was a huge dream. And he played soccer. His family played soccer throughout, middle school and high school. And he wasn't a very good soccer player. So he was like, I'm definitely not going to be getting on the Olympic soccer team, right? So here he is like 20 something. He's still thinking I want to be an Olympian. So basically what he did was he started researching all the summer Olympic sports and all the winter Olympic sports. And he looked at the summer sports and like, yeah, there's nothing here that I think that I could actually do and qualify for. Plus he's 20 trying to start something new, 20, right. Whatever. Then he goes to the winter games and he's looking through and he starts to see that the luge, okay, the Luge. So he's like, I'm a loser, not a loser. I'm a loser. So he's, I'm sure that he gets that. What do you do? I'm a loser. So he started researching luging. And the thing about being on the luge is most people who start, and usually it's kids, teenagers, young teenagers they quit because you break a lot of bones and it's very, very challenging that way. And he was like, yep, this is going to be for me. Because the one thing I don't do is I don't quit. So he basically, long story short, called around, how do I get on the, training for the luge? And they told him, hey, you can't start the luge or any Olympic sport at 20 something, expect to get in. He's like, so I just kept talking and talking. And finally they found out that I believe his ancestry is, and again, I could be quoting wrong, Argentina, possibly. They're like, oh, wait a minute. If you have ancestry from Argentina and you would compete for Argentina, we could train you here in Salt Lake City for the luge to compete for the country of Argentina, because the luge is at risk of getting cut off as an Olympic sport because there's not enough countries participating in the sport. So we would love to have you. He was like, yes, absolutely, 100%. Right. So how does this relate to my friends and family don't support me? So long story short, his goal was to be an Olympian, not a US Olympian, an Olympian. So he went on to 4 Olympics to go and compete with the luge for, his country of ancestry. Right. And his thing was, when he decided to do this, if people were not cheering him on in his circle 100%, they were not part of his life at that point, because he was determined that he was going to do this 100%. And, fast forward, whatever year it was, they asked him to carry the torch, when everybody's passing out the torch. And he was telling his buddy, who was super supportive back then, And he was like, yeah, let's go. Cause he's like, I didn't, have a lot of money and I didn't know how I was going to get out to the place where they wanted me to carry the torch. And his buddy's like, get in my van. And they just went off. And he's like, those are the kind of people that I surrounded myself. So the first thing is that if you can, and it's not always possible because sometimes it's like our spouse or partner, right, who is giving us a hard time, but it is a tough thing to eliminate people from your life who don't support you. But that is something that is a common thread amongst people who are successful, is that if you're down on me and you're negative on me, and not that you're, not getting constructive criticism from people, but that would be from people who are supporting you, right? Not telling you can't do something. So, and there are other things that we're going to talk about, but I want to tell that story about Ruben because he said, I absolutely would not tolerate anyone who is not cheering me on and 100% supportive. I couldn't afford to have that in my life at that time to make my dreams a reality.
That's funny. Like, I have that similar mentality about food, right? So like, if I'm eating something and I'm enjoying it, the worst thing in the world that you could do for me is come over and say, ew. Like, ew, why are you eating that? I'm enjoying it. And that's kind of how I equate this together. Like, if I'm enjoying it, why be so negative? And then just like him in that story, like he distanced himself from those people. I do the same thing. Like, if I am enjoying something, I'm passionate about something, why would you come over and just be negative?
It's actually a reflection on them and their insecurities.
Right.
It's not a reflection on you. You feel like it's on you, but it's not. It's like, mind your own business, do your own thing. You do you, I'll do me.
Exactly. So just it's you have to have tough skin and understand that not everything that everybody does, everybody likes or will support, and that needs to be okay. And dig deep into doing your research to find those connections that you want to make so that you can surround yourself with people whose mentality is in line with yours and going out and trying something new, right? It's definitely, it's easier said than done, but we needed to say it.
Well, we need to say that part because for the majority, even if you're in a workplace, and you can't completely get away from those type of people, you can do things to distance yourself. Because some people like work in a cubicle and they got to deal with that person next to them in the cubicle until they quit the job or whatever.
Yep.
But then we have probably the one that's the most challenging would be a partner or a spouse. Okay. Spouses, especially because, if you're just dating, you could date somebody new, right? Just saying. But spouses, if you have a very negative spouse, and they're just not in alignment with your dreams and goals, it's important to sit down and have a conversation. And this can be pretty tough, but you can only get what you ask for. Okay. And so if they're not being very supportive right now, you can have that conversation and ask them, look, I understand that you don't get what I'm doing right now. So you can just ask them could you just say nothing right now? Like, if you can't say it, be supportive in a positive way, can you just not say the negative stuff?
Right.
It might have to start there. But the other thing is that you could be self-sabotaging that situation, because how many times have I seen this? Okay, probably a zillion. No, that's an over exaggeration or an exaggeration. There's no such thing as an over exaggeration.
Right. Because it's already big.
Right, exactly. But the thing is that I've seen this because we've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs over the years where we're working towards our goals and dreams so that we can have more time freedom with our family, and we structure our lives in a way that we stop spending any time with our family while we're working towards our goals and our dreams. And Christine and I talked about this last week about how important it is to schedule time with your family with the utmost importance. Right. So if your spouse sees you hustling and nothing is coming from that hustle month after month or even year after year, it is actually kind of understandable that they may be wondering, like, okay, you're going to start something new again, right? So having that discussion with them, but then also making sure that you are spending time with them, whatever it is. That's your
Like that
schedule. I can't
work-life
tell you.
balance.
Right. I mean, just, if you're coming home from work at 6, you're eating dinner, you're going to work on your business from 6 to 7:30, and from 7:30 to 9, you're going to hang out with your kids or your spouse, then you do that from at 6:30. Right. So that that means that when you have your work time scheduled, now you might have, before you started the hustle, you might spend all 3 hours with your spouse.
Right.
Well, you need to have that time to hustle. But I've seen so many times where it's very challenging if you can't get your spouse on board. I'm going to be very honest, at least on board to the point where they're not giving you a hard time, because I've had people that I've worked with that would hide in their bathroom to do their work. I'm like, I've never seen it work out well. I'm just not. You don't want to be hiding things from people that, I don't. My wife doesn't know I signed up for this new thing I'm doing.
Right.
Probably not going to play out well for you.
Right. Now, what's not hiding though, is if you and your spouse are working and you know what time they go to bed. Like I schedule stuff after my household bedtime. And that's just me and the business. Because then don't have any distractions. I can get work done. I've spent time with the family. So everybody feels like, people need to feel the connection. They need to feel the love in relationships, that they're needed and cared about, right? But if I schedule it after you go to bed, that's my time.
Yeah. Or before you get up, if you're
exactly, like before they wake up in the morning. And just an hour before or after will make a difference for you, especially if it's consistently in your schedule. Maybe you schedule that hour before to get emails and things like that out, get your social media stuff out. And maybe you schedule that hour after, at the end of your day, to plan what you're going to do the next morning. Like just getting some of those simple habits into place in these time slots that you've allocated to put time in for your business is going to make a difference. Just having that, and we're going to talk about this a lot, but creating some consistency in what you do is going to help you do it, Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about is just start making some flipping money. I'm serious. Like once you start having the money come in, it makes a huge difference to your loved ones. So first of all, the ones that are being like, that are outside your household are being so negative, it's like, look, I'm making money. I don't want to hear about it. Right. But when it comes to your immediate family, the people that are super important to you, that, you don't want to be getting divorced over your home business. I mean, that's silly, right? So just start making some money. So this is going to be a little bit of tough love. If you've been in the home business industry for many, 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 many months, or what we've encountered, years, and you are still not making money, your spouse kind of has a little bit of a point. Okay. So let me say this. If you've been doing this, I've talked to people who've been in the industry for decades, like 20 plus years, and they're still trying to make money in the industry. I'm like, why are you still doing this? Here's what's happening to you. Tough love. You're looking for something external to make that money for you. You're not working on this. You're not working on this. You're not, I already know what you're doing, and I don't even have to know you.
Right.
You're doing the same things over and over again that aren't working. And going back to what we talked about yesterday, you're not taking a lesson from those things. Like, you're not taking a lesson
in that circle of the definition of insanity. Mm-hmm. Doing something over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. We talk about like knowing the goal, knowing the destination, but understanding when to say, you know what, the road to get there has changed. I need to pivot. Maybe you need to take a quick online course to brush up on your marketing skills. Maybe you need to take an online course that'll help you scale your business, maybe scale a piece into something that's going to bring in a smaller amount of income first, faster, right? But what you're doing is you're sitting thinking, I must do this, and this is not working. So you must do something else before you can get to your this. And knowing that and being flexible in your approach is definitely key.
Yeah, jumping around. And I'm going to talk about kind of the network marketing industry for just a minute. jumping around from company to company to company, like if you've been in 50 zillion companies, and you've never made a dime. Okay. Cause I've been in plenty of companies where the company failed us. So that we didn't fail the company, they failed us. So I'm not talking about that. Like they go out of business or change their comp plan and cut off checks or whatever. Don't ship their stuff out in any kind of timely fashion or whatever. I'm talking about where you think that it's not you, it's this company you were in, and then you jump to another company, and then you jump to another company, always looking for, I just need a different comp plan. I need a different product. I need a different service. This one makes the most sense. So there's that, right? There's that.
It's like fun fact, wherever you go, there you are.
Right, exactly.
Like,
right. So nobody wants to like say, oh, it's me, but I like saying it's me. The
right.
reason I don't like playing victim, right? Because I don't have any control if I play victim or if I think it's an external source. If I know it's me, I can do something about it. So
Right.
I like trying to actually find a way. What is it me? Because sometimes it might not be. You might have
Right.
you might have a bad partnership you're in or whatever, right? But if it's, I'm telling you, for you who've been following, me or even Christina for a long time, and it's been years now, and you're still have the dream, but you can't figure out what it is. Message one of us because we'll help you. We'll help you because it's something internal, not external, if you will.
Right. Like the thing that I have an issue with is seeing people treat businesses like a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. And you never try anything long enough to learn and fully understand it so that you can actually dive into it. You never play it out long enough to see the end come to fruition. You give it 2 weeks and you're like, it didn't work. No, there are other people seeing success. So when you say it didn't work, what specifically didn't work? Or did it not work for you? Or did you not actually do the work to make it work?
Right. Or you need to change something the way you talk to people, or you talk too much, or you don't say enough. People come, well, I don't want to promote something until we have a better video. I don't want to promote something until we have this. We don't want to promote it until why don't we have this? Well, if you want something, do it yourself. First of all, don't wait for leadership to create something you're interested in, create it, and then bring it to them so they can pretty it up for you, but get it started. But the other thing is that those people have the same resources and tools you had. They had the same company website, the same compensation plan, the same landing pages, whatever it is.
Right.
And they're having success, right? So it's usually internal 9 times out of 10. Now, if you just started something, you've been doing it for a few weeks, that's a whole nother thing. You got to give it way more time than that.
Right. Like I go back to what we were talking about yesterday. I knew absolutely nothing about YouTube. I feel like I don't know a lot about YouTube, but when I created the channel, it was like, just start. And then for the first year, every single time I did an upload, I learned something new. So by the time I got to the end of my first year, I understood SEO. I understood the theory behind thumbnails, right? Like I understood how to properly promote and drive traffic to it. But I knew nothing in the beginning. But because I got started, I could get constructive criticism. I could get feedback because people had something to look at to give me that information to help me. So if you're starting, but you never really start, like all your ideas are on paper. First step one is to start building the house brick by brick. Start with the foundation, right? Then go ahead and get the structure together, put the bricks on, get the roof there, right? You can't build from the top down. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And going back to your spouses, they're not stupid. Okay. So let's just say you're like, but I've been working on my business. I'm prepared. I got my business plan all written out. That took me a week. I got my affirmations on my wall. I've got my visualization board up, and
right.
Sure, do all those things, but none of that stuff actually matters if you don't do something. We're not working on your business. No words. So it's like, you got to take action. So
Right.
make sure you're being honest with yourself, because again, if you're just like retreating to your office or that little space in the basement, and then your spouse doesn't see you for 3, 4, 5 hours, and you come out and then you're like, but I've been working. They're thinking that you've been working for 5 hours
Right.
every day, and you're not making any money. When in reality, you maybe you were only actually did 15 minutes of real income producing activity
Exactly.
the whole time you were down there.
And that's the thing, like understand the difference between being busy and being productive, and understand the difference between income producing activities and activities that you do to help your business, but they don't bring in income, right? Our aesthetic is beautiful, right? But it doesn't matter if we don't have content.
Right.
It's
And the
like
content
that.
is more important than the aesthetic. So
Exactly.
it's like, and I've also seen people who are extremely addicted to personal development. Now, personal development is super important. Some of us out there were not really introduced to personal development, and it's new for us. Other people, I have this opposite issue. They're so addicted to personal development, that's all they're doing with their spare time. Constantly listening to videos, 15 to 30 minutes a day, doing something with your personal development, whether you read or listen to an audiobook, but you can PD your business to death, meaning that all you do is PD and you don't actually work on your business. That's what I call it.
Those affirmations, they are helpful for your, like, psychologically, but are you getting work done?
Right. You actually do the work. So we have had people, they show up to all the trainings, and they attend all the events, and they do, and they're like, every video we drop, they listen to. Yeah. And it's like 7 hours later, they're still listening to videos and things and haven't done a lick of income producing activities. So you have to, I don't know if I believe in balance per se, but consistency in your personal development is more important. It's like doing something every day for personal development. Right. But not all day. Knock out your
30 minutes in the morning and then get busy, get to work.
Right. Yeah. So don't PD to death. To death. PD. That's what I just say, don't PD to death. So, it's so weird because we've worked with so many people and everybody's situation is a little different. Like I said, there are people that they're never picked up a book or listened to any personal development. And when they discover it, they're like, wow, holy cow. Right. So it is easy to get where all you're doing is that. And maybe you need that at the very beginning, but it can't last forever. Where you're just, that's all you do with your spare time. Try listening to stuff in the car and things like that. So as long as you were driving anyway, you could do it in the car.
Right. You're multitasking now.
Yeah. Instead of turning on, music.
Yep. Like I don't think I've listened to music in my car in maybe about 6 or 7 months. And then now with Kevin being in school, like my son's in school now, so I actually have to drive him to school in the morning. We listen to personal development for both of us in the morning, like our morning motivation. And then after that, like I finished the video or whatever in the car on the way back. And then once I get in the house, now it's time to do work. Now it's time to get content done. It's time to do things, right? So consider multitasking and use it. Like when I cook, I listen to videos when I cook too, just to get like the content in. Maybe I'm trying to learn something new. And yeah, you might have to, like, I do listen to some stuff twice, but it's because I listened to it while I was doing something else. And then I go back and do the notes and then start to take the action steps from there, because now I understand what I'm looking for. Okay, I'll pause it right here and do this step. Right. But like start to layer things. Because if you are listening to your personal development while you're cooking dinner, once dinner's done, stop everything, sit down, do the work-life balance, have dinner with your family, and then work into like your next step in your schedule, right? But you can optimize the amount of work that you're getting done by layering things too.
Yeah, and what does that have to do with, my family? Friends don't support me. What it has to do with is, I'm telling you, you start making money, it just shuts most people up. And if it doesn't shut some of them up, it gives you a reason to tell them to shut up.
Exactly.
And
And
the only way
that's
that's
not mean. That's
right.
true.
Yeah, and the only way it's going to do that is for you to do what's necessary to actually do things that create income for you in your home business. No matter what type of business, you could be a coach, a mentor, affiliate marketing, and MLM, whatever it is. It's all marketing, guys. It's just all marketing. It's all the same thing when it comes to actually what you need to do to build those businesses. All
Mhm.
businesses are funnels. We'll talk about that on another drink. All businesses are funnels. All businesses, real estate,
Yep.
restaurants, all of it. It's all the same thing. They have a pipeline that they bring people through. So if you are having a struggle, it is probably because you need to hone your marketing skills. That's usually what it is, because all businesses are pretty much the same as far as, how you funnel people through. It's just a different video, obviously, for, if you wanted to get your business going at a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
You're doing social media and doing videos about your restaurant or whatever, or versus you're selling an affiliate product and selling
Right.
technical information, right? But it's still a pipeline, and so marketing skills are the what you really want to be focusing on, because once you learn how to market, you can make money in any niche, anything. Just pick it.
And use your resources, please. Like I in the beginning, I was not good at doing some of the stuff for marketing. I outsourced it to Fiverr,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I talked to people around me who had businesses to see how they got things did, right? I reached out to my other friends, Christy, who like has success inside of this business, to say, what tips do you have? Right? Use your resources. The internet is a thing. You
It
can find
is what?
lots of, you can find lots of great stuff. We are on the internet for you.
Right. So, like, how do I do this? Have you tried Googling it? What? Yeah.
That's a thing.
No, yes. Do you sometimes need to pay for information? Yes. How many times have you heard me saying the last 2 weeks alone now
Right.
that I will pay for information? I will pay for coaching. I
Yep.
pay so when I talk about things, we don't want to talk about things that we aren't willing to do ourselves. We pay ongoing for education and training. We ongoing
Oh
for
yeah.
education and marketing, right? Because it is a hack, but there's also lots of great information by going to Google. And I wouldn't say you want to Google University your whole business, or YouTube University your whole business, but there are a lot of tips and tricks out there, and also just things that can inspire you to ask the right questions to your
Right.
mentor.
Like
Yeah.
as a YouTuber, trust me, no YouTube channel will ever give you A to Z. We are marketers. We're going to give you information because we have something for you to purchase or something for you to opt into. So you can, use her YouTube University all you want to, but you're still going to have little bits and pieces that you would need to like pay for the service for to get. And that's the one thing I don't think people understand when they try to YouTube University something. Every YouTuber that has value, like I watch people for social media marketing, they all have marketing systems. They all have mentorship programs as well. They give you great value. That's why I keep coming back. But did I pay for a mentorship program? Yeah. Yeah. I needed the extra stuff. Like I wanted to know how to finish this part that they went over 5 times. So just understand that if you're Googling it and YouTubing it, understand that your business, and remember how earlier this week we were talking about putting a percentage back into your business to grow your business. That's some of the things that you might want to start taking into consideration. Like if there's something you want to do and you need to know more, consider finding a class and using the revenue that you're getting, start taking that percentage off to save for that class so that you can get the next part done.
And don't be mad about that. That's what marketers do.
Right.
Do you go to your job and work for free?
Exactly.
No.
Like we give out free valuable content, of course, but
the difference between entrepreneurs and employees, the biggest thing is that employees get paid for their time. Entrepreneurs get paid for the results. And so when you go up to something like YouTube or a blog or whatever, the good entrepreneurs are going to give you true value, but that doesn't mean it's the whole thing. Why would they give you the whole thing so that they can make that all the money they've spent from
exactly
all the time they've spent learning, and now what, they're just going to just go and do it 100% for free out of the good of their hearts? Most of them have, and I say most because we know there's junk out there, have good intentions and they just want to give true value, but they're also there to make a living just like everybody else.
Right. Because monetizing social media is a thing.
Just figure out, you want to just do it too, instead of like, oh, I can't believe they're going to charge for this. Figure out how they did it so that you can charge for your time, because you are an expert at something, or you're working towards becoming an expert at something.
Right.
You have something of value to offer, and you should be paid for your time and your energy as well. Right. So that's my 2 cents.
So if your family doesn't support what you do, it's perfectly okay. We talk about trading because we are both traders, right? Mm-hmm. My family thought that I was absolutely nuts when I told them what I was doing, because I was paying for education. I've never not paid for education except for like high school and middle school, elementary school, right? And no, not even that, because like private school for a couple of years. But you pay for education because the education gives you the information that you need to see success. And once I started seeing the success, although they still don't believe in it, they stop talking about it. They stop talking negatively. It's like, she's going to do whatever she wants to anyway, and she ain't asking me for money. So, leave her alone. And that is the thing that I had to come to terms with, because inside of what I do, I'm like, I have a huge family. My team's going to be great. No.
We talked about that yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, like that punched me in the gut. And I was like, oh, so none of you subscribed the first day I told you to subscribe? Like, it's fine. But understand that the vision that you have, other people, is blurry for them. It's not their vision. It's not for them to understand.
No, and even when you have success, a lot of them, even the ones that do cheer you on but don't get it, they don't get it.
Right.
They don't think they could do it.
Exactly. It's not you.
It's about them. It has nothing to do with you.
Yep.
Good for you. Good for you.
Golf clap.
And right. I mean, and I think that because I'm not negative on the human race like so many people are. I think that most of our loved ones who kind of get in a negative mode, I think they're well-intentioned. They think they're giving us well-intentioned advice.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's malicious 9 times out of 10. Now, everybody's got that like that Uncle Jack who's just a jerk all the time, right? Nobody likes him in the family. He's always a jerk. But I think that most people are well-intentioned. I don't think it's malicious, but it is a real thing that people don't, it makes them feel uncomfortable to see you be successful and they're still stuck in the same place. It does make people uncomfortable.
That, and sometimes it's just they don't understand you giving up something comfortable and consistent to do something that they couldn't do or that they don't understand is beneficial. Some people are comfortable in that I get a consistent check every Friday or every other Friday. Why would you give up the consistency of the check? They don't understand that you mentally have outgrown that check. Now you want more than just what the check is offering. And that's not saying that you have a job and your basic entry and you want to get out of there like low level. No, like doctors, lawyers, right? It
might be lawyers, right for them. That might be the right thing for them.
Exactly. And sometimes, like I said, your vision is not for everybody else to understand or see. So be comfortable in understanding and knowing that not everybody's going to get it,
but going like recapping what we talked about is like doing your best to eliminate. So here we are talking about eliminating again. Success comes from elimination. Eliminating as many people in your life or distancing yourself
Yep.
who aren't cheering you on. And then what can you do from the standpoint of the really close loved ones? Just start having success. And that's going to take that internal thing, and also have that conversation with them. Like, this is really important to me. I understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
I get it. I've been trying this for so long, but let me just do this for the next XYZ amount of time. And I'm going to, but then you've got to make those internal adjustments to actually start making money, because your spouse isn't going to be mad at you when you start actually bringing money into the household,
Right.
or bring them home from work or whatever. So that's the biggest thing. Just start making the damn money and shut everybody up.
I mean, money talks very loudly.
For sure. So that's pretty much our show for today, guys. For the next several days inside of our newsletter. If you're not on our newsletter, by the way, go to pipsforbrunch.com. We're going to be just sharing with you some of the tools and strategies and things that we've used over the years to keep us consistent, and also have automated a lot of tasks in our business, because we subscribe to multiple income streams for sure.
Right.
And how do you build multiple income streams and without losing focus? We're going to talk a lot about that in the newsletter as well. So it's going to be, several emails over the next, I'd say, 5 to 10 business days, or we kind of just lay out some of the philosophies and things that have worked well for us. Like, how do I bring 8 to 10 checks in, but without losing my focus? Don't we need to focus on one thing only? And that, to me, that's super risky. So we'll talk about that. Make sure you're plugging into, to that. I know tomorrow, what are we going to talk about tomorrow, Christina?
So are we going to talk about the age thing? We're going to tackle that?
Let's talk about the age thing.
Okay.
How about am I in both spectrums? Let's talk about if you think you're too young to do something, and also if you think you're too old.
Right. So am I too old to invest or start a new business, or am I too young? Mm-hmm. Right. And in this one, you want to go over imposter syndrome. That'd be fun.
Yep.
Okay. So tomorrow, don't miss it if you have these questions. Okay. Now, do us a favor. Go ahead, share the content, like the content, ask us questions. We love to get and give feedback. Go ahead, follow us on our social medias. They're up here, right? Subscribe to pipsforbrunch.com, our newsletter, to make sure that you're getting this information. And just in case your schedule changes, you don't want to miss a beat, you'll have access through that newsletter as well. Okay.
Sounds good to me. You got me sold. I want to show up for the show too.
Awesome. So we're going to wrap it up right here. We're going to see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys are having an awesome and productive day, and bye.
Bye, everybody.